1,200, 400, 800, 1,600, the distance medley relay. Here are the records, collegiate and world, by Oregon. 10:48.77, the NCAA meet record. The record run at this competition, Tennessee, back in 2009, 10:50.98.
And an interesting note for that Oregon team, as of now, we're not seeing Raven Rogers. She is not lining up. She was part of that collegiate record-setting DMR, but she is not going to run that 800-meter leg on the track. They've switched up their order. Also, big changes for the Razorbacks. Arkansas has 3 subs in for their team that came in with a mark of 10:57.93.
Now, you know what that tells me? That tells me that Oregon knows they're winning the team title and they don't need to run Raven Rogers into the ground, and Arkansas knows they aren't going to win, so they pulled their people from it. That's what it tells me.
But still a lot of track meet today.
But still, they're seeing it, they're reading the tea leaves, even with Deja Stevens being DQ'd in the 200 and giving away arguably 10 points.
And another example, Katie Rainsberger not running anything except the DMR. As an example, no mile for her, etc. They are just a prohibitive favorite, and they can kind of back things down if you wish, if you're Coach Robert Johnson.
Rainsberger, the clear favorite in the 3K, so we will see her Saturday. But yes, obviously coming in fresh for the DMR.
Right.
Anyway, all 12 teams that qualified to be here on the track. It's not 2 sections, it's 1 meet, 1 event, 1 race. 1,200 meters first leg, then they hand off a 400-meter leg, an 800-meter leg, and a 1,600-meter leg.
And I'm with you, Dwight, in terms of being an athlete. This is one of the most fun events to compete in because it's such a rare opportunity that you have this conglomeration of athletes where you can have a 400-meter runner and a miler all on the same relay. So it's so much fun when you get out here and compete with all those different dynamics on the track.
I mean, just think about an Olympic final with Kenya, the United States, Germany, Great Britain, these types of things. This would be a spectacular
Ethiopia,
race.
throw them in there too.
There you go, absolutely. You might have a tough time scraping up a good 400-meter runner, but the 400-meter leg isn't really all that important.
They could find a guy that could go 46.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, right.
So Oregon will have 3 out of their 4 that set that collegiate record. It will be Brooke Feldmeyer on the 800-meter leg in place of Raven Rogers. Feldmeyer's a very strong 800-meter runner as well, so they very well could still win without the services of Raven Rogers.
Here's what happened when Oregon set the collegiate record of 10 minutes 48 seconds plus. Lily Burton ran the first 1,200 meters, 3 minutes and 20 seconds, very fast time for 1,200. Ashante Horsley went under 54 seconds, Raven Rogers under 2:04, and Katie Rainsberger brought the 1,600 meters home in just under 4 minutes and 31 seconds. So you see the quality, and all of these other teams, with 1 or 2, 3 exceptions, are all under 11 minutes. And on the men's race, it's even more dynamic than this women's race, which is outstanding.
In every other event, it's the top 16 athletes or teams to be in here. In this, just the top 12.
And here's how they get there at home, just in case you're not familiar with it. They go to the fastest tracks, either oversized tracks in Ames, Iowa, Notre Dame, Seattle, Vanderbilt, and they try and get a whole bunch of quality teams here to push each other, and they run a DMR. And they will do it on a regular track like this as well. So you try and set it up for fast races because you need a qualifying time. There's not many places to run a DMR anywhere in the country. So you get the fast qualifying time, then you forget about it. Then you go about your business of getting your rest of the team to qualify to run here. That's what track and field has kind of turned into in the indoor season with these high, tough standards at the NCAA.
So it's Oregon and Michigan pretty much sharing the lead. Oregon a little bit ahead. Penn State is also there, and it looks like maybe Villanova on the inside. All very much bunched up in this first 1,200-meter leg with 3 laps remaining.
And of course, we mentioned that Oregon comes in as the clear favorite, running that 10:48. But also look at Indiana; they ran 10:55, and then you have BYU at 10:56. So very close bunch. They're in that 2nd through 6th position.
The top 8 teams will score. And for those of you who are watching, are probably pretty familiar with how the scoring goes here. 10 points for first, 8 points for second, and then 6 down through 1, for places 3rd through 8th.
2:18 for the first 800 meters, not particularly fast. Now things have definitely heated up with 400 meters to go.
And you're seeing Danae Rivers back out on the track, the freshman from Penn State, putting her team in great position where she is right now, sitting on the heels of Villanova there.
They're going to have to worry about her on this last lap. I think she's got a good chance to wind up bringing the stick first.
Suddenly, Indiana into the lead with Penn State closely behind. Now they're starting to separate a little bit. This is going to be, if it stays like this, is going to be a very, very cluttered handoff from the 1,200-meter leg to the 400-meter leg.
And the handoffs are always a little bit iffy when you have distance runners on a relay, so things could get very interesting in a crowded exchange.
LSU up there. That's Ruby Stauber. 3:24 unofficially for the first 1,200 meters.
So about 4 seconds off that collegiate record pace. So
Right.
slowed down a lot on that 1,200 leg.
Well, the first 800 kind of did them in as far as the pace went. Then she picked it up to a 66 pace. Here's the 400-meter legs, and these guys scream.
And that's Taylor Williams, a sophomore for the Hoosiers, right there running a very strong second leg for their DMR.
Laura's alma mater in the lead. Big smile on her face.
You don't have to tell everybody, right? I was trying.
I want all of you listening to know she has not pulled out her cell phone.
But look at this move.
LSU with a big move there to get back on top as they get ready to hand off for the 800-meter leg. And now Michigan back into second, Indiana fading to third, followed by Penn State. Now things will start to string out a little bit more.
About a 53-second leg unofficially for LSU to take over that lead. That was Travia Jones, their senior, was scheduled to run that leg.
Now this looks to be Erica Lewis right there for LSU.
And Oregon, are they back in 6th place? I mean, well back. This is the leg that Raven Rogers would have normally run, but she was replaced. She is going to be running an open 800 meters tomorrow.
If Katie Rainsberger is running the anchor for Oregon, they are absolutely still in the hunt, unequivocally, not too far back.
Brooke Feldmeyer, who's on this leg of the 800 for Oregon, she has an indoor PR of 2:03, so she could really throw down the hammer here in this next lap.
She's definitely made up some of the room, even though they're back in 7th place. They're just not that far off the lead.
And then Olivia Hippensteel right there for Indiana, closing in on LSU as we get into the backstretch.
Shea Collinsworth was scheduled to be on this 800-meter leg for BYU, but I don't know that I see her out there. She is qualified through in the 800. Michigan now challenging for the lead and taking it. But again, Oregon, though she is back in 7th place, still just not that far off the lead, giving their freshman 1,600-meter leg a very good opportunity to get Oregon back into scoring position. Now she's making a big move. Katie Feldmeyer now up to 4th, challenging for 3rd. A smartly run leg to get the Ducks back into contention.
Jamie Phelan, the junior out of Michigan, running an outstanding leg right there as she hands it off in the lead to Gina Serino.
Michigan's leg very unofficially, somewhere right around 2:05 for her leg.
Feldmeyer with a 2:04.7 split and bringing the Ducks from 7th up to 3rd at the exchange.
Now for Indiana's anchor leg, you have Catherine Receiver. Of course, she was leading the 5K coming into the NCAA meet, but opted to not run that to focus on this event. So we'll see if that strategic move from head coach Ron Helmer pays off for Indiana, because Michigan has a very strong anchor leg as well.
Oregon, I believe that is Oregon in 3rd place on the backstretch, and Katie Rainsberger.
Yes, it is.
And we will see Rainsberger and Receiver duke it out tomorrow in the 3K. So going to be very interesting to see these two ladies.
No, this guy.
Well, we're being told that Katie Rainsberger needs 4:23 to get the collegiate record. I think that went out the window very early on. When you're at the NCAA championships, records are nice when you can get them, but it's all about the victory. Oregon now in 4th place as LSU comes up into 3rd. So it's Michigan followed by Indiana, then LSU and Oregon in on the rail. But 8 teams very much in contention still.
And with as impressive as Catherine Rossier ran that 5K at the Big Ten Championships, keep in mind that she's run a 4:33 miles, so she can be a real threat as we get into the final laps of this mile leg of the DMR.
That's very true. And Rainsberger was in 4th place right now. Her mom was Lisa Weidenbach at the time and was the last winner of the Boston Marathon for an American woman in 1985, no less. Still the last woman. And tragically, in her own way, and I've worked on television with Lisa before, she finished 4th twice at the U.S. Olympic Marathon Trials. How painful is that? Because the top 3, of course, if you're not sure, didn't know, top 3 go. So she comes from her stock beautifully, and she has had a brilliant high school career from Colorado Springs, Colorado, and just keeps improving strongly, mightily.
Less than a half mile now to go, less than 4 laps, and not much has changed over the last couple of laps. It's still Michigan, followed by Indiana, LSU, and then Oregon. And then I want to say it's BYU in 5th place, and then Penn State still 8 teams, the scoring teams really still right there. Anybody in position to strike and improve their position.
And really watch Morgan Schutz of LSU. She's an outstanding 800-meter runner, so she has great closing speed that we could see play out in this final few laps of the DMR.
There's a crazy stat that I love about Morgan Schutz, and I'm glad in her last indoor meet that I get a chance to say it. She was a walk-on. She is from Baton Rouge, where LSU is located. And in high school, her best mile was 5 minutes and 25 seconds. She's not 45 seconds off her mile time as a walk-on. Kadivas Robinson, hats off to you as her coach.
And look, they've really bunched up, which means that the pace has slowed a little bit for the final push with just 2 laps remaining. 400 meters in this DMR and 9 teams in contention for the 8 scoring spots. A lot of jostling going on. Uh-oh, Indiana drops the baton, so they are out of it. And then there were 8. Oregon back in 5th place now, but Rainsberger gathering herself and passing runners on the backstretch to get herself back and her team back into 3rd place. So now Michigan, BYU, Oregon, LSU in on the rail as we're coming up to the bell lap.
And Gina Serino won the 3K championship at the Big Ten meet, so she's had a great indoor season.
And there goes Rainsberger at the bell. Katie Rainsberger of Oregon, the freshman, running like a seasoned veteran. Full race kick with Stanford now out of nowhere contending. It's 2 Pac-12 teams duking it out in the final 75 meters in the women's distance medley relay. I'm not sure Stanford's not going to win it. But on the outside, here comes Colorado. I think that Stanford held them off, but Oregon, the collegiate record holder and leader, definitely unable to hold off a charging Colorado and Stanford. It was all Pac-12, and Colorado gets it. 11 minutes and 34 seconds. Pac-12 1, 2, 3. Stanford ends up second by 0.02 of a second. And Oregon and Katie Rainsberger, who thought they had it, ends up 3rd.
Oh my goodness. What a phenomenal, phenomenal event this is. Here's the first exchange, and you watch the teams coming forward here, and it is Penn State getting the handoff first, as we suspected there. Great performance. Look at how crowded it is. 2 minutes and 18 seconds for the first 800 meters is what we saw on that leg. Here's the baton exchange after 400 meters, and it was a great relay leg run by LSU Travia Jones, pushing her team with a 53.7 400-meter leg to the front. But here's what happened on the final exchange that you saw. Michigan with a terrific 2:04.5 leg winds up getting the baton in first place, and then 9 teams wind up in front. And look at the battle for the finish. Pac-12 all over again. Watch the move by Colorado down the home stretch after it looked like it would be Stanford. It is just a phenomenal dip in the tape.
That is Danny Jones. What an outstanding anchor leg all together to bring Colorado all the way home and through the tape.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And we're going to see another one that is just like this. I can't wait for this. This is the most exciting race that I can see on the menu here, other than what Ches is trying to do. It is stunning what's coming up here in the men's distance medley relay.
So there are the official results.